The internet is losing its mind over Selena Gomez's husband Benny Blanco, and honestly we need to talk about what's really happening here, because this whole situation has spiraled into something that says way more about society than it does about their relationship. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we're diving deep into pop culture conversations that matter, and trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. So here's what's going down. Social media has been flooded with videos getting millions of views claiming that Benny Blanco might be gay and that his marriage to Selena Gomez is what people are calling a lavender marriage. Now, for those who don't know, a lavender marriage traditionally refers to a marriage between a woman and a gay man who form an intimate bond, but not in a romantic or physical way. It's more of a companionship arrangement where the gay partner uses the marriage to hide their true identity from the public. The term has evolved over time, and some people now use it to describe marriages of convenience, where two people decide to partner up for practical reasons rather than romantic love. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. There's a massive difference between a historical lavender marriage where someone hides their identity and a modern mixed orientation relationship where both partners are open and honest about who they are. The rumors about Benny have been circulating because of various moments caught on camera over the years. There are videos of him kissing male friends, wearing high heels, displaying what some consider feminine mannerisms, and basically just not fitting into the traditional masculine stereotype that society expects from straight men. The comment sections on these viral videos are brutal. People are saying things like, "She married a gay man. This is so embarrassing for Selena. There's so many men to choose from. Why would she pick someone who likes men? And I feel so sad for her." The disrespect is real, and it's everywhere. But let's take a step back and really think about this logically. If a man were truly gay and desperately trying to hide it from the world, do you honestly think he would be displaying any behavior that could remotely be interpreted as not traditionally masculine? Absolutely not. Men who are closeted and terrified of being exposed tend to overcompensate. They become the most aggressively masculine version of themselves possible. They lean hard into sports, machismo, traditional male stereotypes, and they make absolutely certain that nothing they do in public could ever be questioned. They don't kiss their male friends on red carpets. They don't experiment with fashion in ways that challenge gender norms. They play it safe because their entire goal is to hide. What we're seeing with Benny Blanco is actually the complete opposite. He's comfortable enough with himself that he doesn't feel the need to perform masculinity for anyone. He can express affection for his friends regardless of their gender. He can explore fashion and self-expression without worrying about what people will think. That's not the behavior of someone hiding. That's the behavior of someone who is secure in who they are. Now, could he be bisexual? Sure, that's possible. But even if he were, the only person who needs to be okay with that is Selena Gomez. Not random people on the internet. Not gossip channels. Not anyone else. Their relationship is their business. The real issue here is how we as a society treat men who don't fit into rigid masculine stereotypes. There are straight men out there who are sensitive, who cry, who understand women's experiences, who can connect emotionally with others, and who aren't obsessed with traditionally masculine pursuits. And we need to stop automatically labeling them as gay just because they don't act like every other guy. That kind of thinking is harmful in so many ways. It hurts gay men by perpetuating stereotypes. It hurts straight men by boxing them into narrow definitions of masculinity. And it hurts everyone by limiting the ways we're allowed to express ourselves. Think about what we're actually saying when we assume someone's sexuality based on their mannerisms. We're saying that there's only one correct way to be a straight man, and if you deviate from that, you must be something else. We're saying that sensitivity equals gay, that emotional intelligence equals gay, that fashion sense equals gay, that close friendships with other men equal gay. None of those things determine sexuality. Sexuality is about who you're attracted to romantically and physically. It has nothing to do with whether you wear high heels or cry at movies or hug your friends. There are countless straight men who have questioned their sexuality at some point because they didn't feel as masculine as their brothers or friends. They didn't like sports as much as they were supposed to. They were more interested in art or music or fashion. They were more emotionally expressive. And because our society has such rigid definitions of what men should be, these guys genuinely wondered if something was different about them. But being a sensitive straight man doesn't make you gay. Being in touch with your feminine side doesn't make you gay. Understanding and empathizing with women's experiences doesn't make you gay. In fact, we should be celebrating straight men who break out of these toxic masculine stereotypes. We need more men who understand how difficult menstruation can be. We need more men who recognize the emotional labor that women carry. We need more men who can be vulnerable and express their feelings. We need more men who value their friendships and aren't afraid to show affection. The alternative is men who are emotionally stunted, who can't connect with their partners, who bottle everything up until it explodes, and who perpetuate harmful ideas about what strength looks like. Benny Blanco grew up close to his mother. She's his best friend. That relationship likely taught him to value women, to listen to them, to understand them as full human beings rather than as objects or mysteries. That's something to admire, not something to mock. The fact that he can be himself publicly, that he doesn't feel the need to put on a performance of masculinity, shows strength, not weakness. It shows confidence, not confusion. And let's talk about Selena for a moment. The idea that she would waste her time in a fake marriage is honestly insulting to her intelligence and agency. This is a woman who has been open about wanting real love and meaningful partnership. She's someone who could have her pick of partners if she wanted. The suggestion that she would enter into some kind of arrangement for appearance's sake doesn't make any sense. If you look at how she talks about Benny and how they interact together, you see genuine affection and connection. That's not something you can fake consistently over time. The concept of a lavender marriage made sense in an era when being gay could destroy your career and your life. People entered into these arrangements out of necessity for survival. But we're living in a different time now. While there's still work to be done on acceptance and equality, the entertainment industry is generally much more accepting of openly gay artists than it was decades ago. The idea that someone would need to hide behind a marriage in this current environment doesn't hold up, especially for someone who isn't even that concerned with maintaining a perfectly traditional masculine image. What's really happening here is that people are uncomfortable with men who challenge gender norms. They're uncomfortable with the idea that masculinity can look different ways. They're uncomfortable with emotional expression and vulnerability from men. So they try to explain it away by deciding that any man who doesn't fit the stereotype must be gay. But that explanation says more about the people making those assumptions than it does about Benny or his relationship with Selena. Some straight men are comfortable kissing their close friends. Some straight men like fashion and experimenting with their appearance. Some straight men are emotionally available and sensitive. Some straight men don't care about sports or typical guy activities. And all of those men are still straight, if that's who they're attracted to. We need to expand our understanding of what masculinity can look like instead of trying to force everyone into the same narrow box. The tragedy in all of this is how many men feel like they can't be themselves around their own families and friends. They feel like they can only let their guard down in certain safe spaces because otherwise they'll be judged or mocked or have their sexuality questioned. That's heartbreaking. Men should be able to cry when they need to cry. They should be able to talk about their feelings. They should be able to form deep, meaningful friendships with other men without worrying about what people will think. They should be able to explore different aspects of their personality and presentation without having their identity questioned. This whole situation with Selena and Benny is a perfect example of why we need to do better. These are two people who found each other and fell in love. They're building a life together. And instead of just letting them be happy, the internet has decided to dissect their relationship and spread rumors and make Selena out to be some kind of victim in a fake marriage. It's cruel, and it's based on nothing but outdated stereotypes and assumptions. If Benny Blanco were gay and wanted to live openly as a gay man, he would do that. We're not in an era where celebrities need to hide who they are out of fear anymore. What we're seeing is someone who is secure enough in himself that he doesn't need to perform for anyone's expectations. And that's exactly the kind of masculine energy we should be promoting. Not toxic masculinity that's afraid of anything perceived as feminine or weak, but confident masculinity that knows who it is and doesn't need validation from others. At the end of the day, sexuality is complicated and personal. Some people know exactly who they are from a young age. Others explore and question and figure things out over time. Some people experience attraction primarily based on gender. Others connect with people based on emotional and spiritual compatibility, regardless of gender. All of those experiences are valid. But what's not okay is making assumptions about someone else's sexuality based on superficial observations and then spreading those assumptions as fact online. The viral videos and hateful comments aren't just disrespectful to Benny and Selena. They're harmful to every man who doesn't fit traditional masculine stereotypes. They're harmful to every person in a relationship that doesn't look exactly like what society expects. They're harmful because they reinforce the idea that there's only one right way to be a man and one right way to be in a relationship. And that's just not true. We live in a world with infinite variety in how people express themselves and connect with each other. The sooner we can accept that and stop trying to put everyone in rigid categories, the better off we'll all be. Let people live their lives. Let them love who they love. Let them express themselves however feels authentic. And maybe before jumping to conclusions about someone's private life based on a few video clips, consider that you don't actually know these people and you don't know what's true about their relationship. Selena and Benny deserve to be happy without constant speculation and judgment. All men deserve to express the full range of human emotion without being labeled. And we all deserve to live in a world that's more accepting of difference and more willing to challenge harmful stereotypes. This conversation matters because it's not really about one couple or one set of rumors. It's about how we treat each other and the boxes we try to force people into. It's about creating space for everyone to be authentically themselves without fear. And it's about recognizing that love and identity are complex, beautiful things that can't be reduced to simple categories or assumptions. So before you share that next viral video or leave that harsh comment, think about what you're really saying and who it hurts. Choose kindness. Choose understanding. And let people live. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking with me through this important conversation. Make sure you're subscribed because we're going to keep having real talks about the issues that matter in pop culture and beyond.